Here's a video that I made back when I got my FoxAlien 4040 XE, and I never did publish the video. I got busy, things happen. So here's my video with my unboxing. I didn't show the actual assembly because nobody wants to hear me swearing at nuts and bolts and screaming at cameras, so literally just looked at the book, did the part, showed the picture, moved on. There's a lot of instructional videos way better than this. This is just an overview of my foibles and how I went through it and the things that I ran into as I built my machine. It's been a great ride and I can't wait to do some more. So I picked up a FoxAlien 4040 XE on Amazon return for half price, which was 500 bucks shipped, no tax. Not a bad deal. So I just got it. Box was in really rough shape and beat up on all sides. We're going to take a look and see what's going on in here. See what kind of remnants I've got. Here's the box. There's the top. Well, let's see. So far, so good. I mean, I see parts. What I'm looking for is to see if this looks like it's been put together or not. Somebody might have just picked it up and said, I can do this, and they got it and they said, no, I can't do this. So I'm hoping this will be the case. Now, it looks like something's missing here. I don't know what it is yet. We'll have to find out. So I'll keep digging. All right. Episode 1, 4040 XE from FoxAlien. I am very excited about this. It looks like all the parts are here, and it looks like this has never even been assembled. Someone started putting it together or did something. There's a couple of chips. Little paint chips maybe, like here and here. You know, that's about it. Nothing looks like it's ever been hooked up. So I'm not going to worry about this at all. I'm going to put this thing together. So I've got all my parts. There's my cables. There's a little box of screws, probably a couple tools in there, maybe a couple hex wrenches. There's a bag full of other accessories plus the flash drive. There's my 300-watt spindle. I'm going to swap that for the 500 I have. There's the spindle holder. There's the Z-axis. Now this has dual Y motors, Y1 and Y2, and those will run in parallel off the controller. And here's the controller. It's a nice-looking controller. I'm not sure how noisy it's going to be. We'll find out. Some drag chain brackets. There's my X-axis assembly. This will attach. My Z will attach right to that X-axis. And some clamps. So this really is complete. And there's my drag chain with all my cables. And drag chain guides, things like that. So this looks really good. I'm excited about this whole situation. This is going to be a really good time. So I'm going to get putting this thing together. And we'll see how it goes together. So here's the contents of my accessories bag. There's your Z. Yeah, your Z checker. What's the word I'm looking for? Your Z down stop. Yeah. Some tools, micro SD card, along with a flash drive. And look at all those tools. They got lots of tools. And they even gave me a little brush and a waste board and a piece of board to play with. So this should be good. Step 1, we're going to assemble the waste board using 10, 5, M20, M5 by 20 millimeter bolts. And we're going to put that to the base. Easy peasy. This 4040 XE kit came with a nice little box or bag full of accessories. Nice box of bolts here for all the assembly. Everything's marked on the front. Got a flash card. Got a USB drive here. Actually, I see two USB drives. There's your Z probe. A couple of Allen wrenches. A couple spanners for the collets. A brush, USB, and some nice assortment of cutters. I'm excited about that. So I mounted the waste board. 6 screws, no big deal. Easy peasy. But I want to measure corner to corner to make sure that it's not jocked or crooked. So I'm going to check that. Next is the Duff baffles, one on each side along the Y-axis. And that's simply 4 M5 16 millimeter bolts. So we'll put them on. And those are going to go right along the sides here. It's a beautiful thing. And that'll keep some of that wood chips and metal chips, hopefully eventually, from getting into my rollers and belts. This is a really good manual. They don't need a lot of words. They're just showing you pictures of what to do. So we're going to take our gantry, which I've just laid upon here, upside down, and we're going to set it in place, and we're going to attach that thusly using 4 M5 12 millimeter bolts, 4 M5 spring washers, and 4 M5 washers. Should be plenty easy. Looks like it bolt right up there. Make sure it's square, and off we go. And then we're going to put the Z-axis assembly on there next, and that should be easy as well. So we'll just go ahead and do both of those. So here's my trick when it comes to leveling. When you're trying to level your bed, level the head to the bed, okay? What I do is you hold it tight to the gantry and then lower it down, and you can see how big that error is there. So that gantry's got to go back some. So that makes it easier than trying to hold it flat here and then try to see the small gap on the gantry. So you see what I'm saying? So that works. So if you have to level it, give it a chance, and it gives you a lot more to work with. Well, that took care of assembling the gantry onto the rails and then the Z-axis onto the gantry. The only better way it could have been done, I would think, would have had to have some pins, some locating pins in the pieces. Because if you don't have a square and you're just guessing, you're not going to get the square. So I had to use my trusty square. Worked out really well. It's a Dollar Tree special, so if you happen to see these at Dollar Tree, they have both an inch and a metric side. So I have two of these, and I'm going to put them on opposite axes of my machine so I can keep track of what's what and where's where, and actually set it maybe at a 0 and just pop my parts in there and be done. So this looks like it's going to be fine. And I'm on to the next step, which is going to be to put in my spindles, spindle mount, and my spindle. So this is getting good. I can't wait. So now the Z-axis assembly is going to get assembled onto the gantry. 4 bolts, pretty easy. And again, I'll use my square to make sure everything's, square to the base, square to my spoil board. All right, 4 bolts. Looking good so far. I decided to put the 300-watt spindle in first because let's just get used to one thing at a time. I have a tendency to get ahead of myself and start putting in things before it's time and upgrading things before I even get the full gist of the machine. This looks good though. It has some nice stop switches here on the Z, both north and south. It's got 2 on the Y, and it's probably got 2 on the X as well. I can see 1. I see 1 on the X anyway. So it looks good. This will be a great little machine. I can't wait to try it. So the next step was to put these brackets on for the drag chain. There's 1 there, and there's 1 there, under, there it is over here. Not too bright here. I was confused because I had the carriage forward, and the 2 nuts, the loose nuts, the T-nuts that go in here, I guess they're T-nuts, in there, were way down the other end, and I was trying to put things down there, and I'm like, this does not look good. Doesn't look right. So I was able to figure it all out all by myself, and we're back in business again. So we're going to move on to the next step. The next step is to put the bracket on for the X-axis drag chain. So we're going to look for that. It's going to take some bolts. We're going to take 4 M5 6mm bolts, the drag chain bracket, and another small X-axis drag chain bracket shown there. Okay, so we're going to put this on there, and should be just a few bolts, and off we go. So that bracket was easy, 2 bolts, and then you can see underneath there's some clips that'll hold everything together. Let's turn on our light here. And then this one, this little bracket here, 2 bolts, it's going to sit just like that. So that'll be easy. We'll get that done. And we'll see what's next after that. I'm getting so excited. This is so close. Well, I have to say, this has been pretty easy. I ended up with 2 straight bolts. Don't know where they go. I don't see any place else where I need to worry about bolts, but we'll see if there's anything down the road. What's left here are the wiring diagrams. So all I'm going to really do is to plug in the other end of my Anaconda here. Just going to plug in these, and those are going to go to the back of the box. And the box is really well laid out. Let me spin this around here a little bit so you can see it. And all these will go right in. I mean, each one has its own label. Each one has its own place. You can't miss. Even I can do it. One thing I would recommend is going around on each one of these bolts and just giving them, look, see that little bit snug, and I'm just giving them a little snugging. See, I'm only using maybe like, I don't know, small torque wrench size, like a quarter, like the force you'd use on a 1/4-inch socket. Okay, go around and tighten up all these bolts, just because in shipping I've noticed I had another FoxAlien machine, 3018. And what happened was all the bolts were just that little bit loose. So you don't want to crack anything, but this isn't plastic either. So you can go ahead and just give them a little snug. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug things in. I got all my limit switch plugs to put in here. I've got a lot of these different limits, motor, power, all that good stuff. So this is going to be all done in a minute. So here's a tip where you could avoid some aggravation. When I got the drag chain all installed, I still had a Y wire to put in here, and that actually fits nicely under the drag chain. But if you look at this, it's got these, Chinese finger lock things. And looking at it from afar, I couldn't figure out how to get them open. So I'm just going to open them up, drop in that Y cable, and then I'm going to put it back together. It'll be a lot easier. So that's just something that maybe, if you get aggravated like I do, trying to figure things out with your fingers, you can't see under there. So let's see how it goes. Put it back together, and we should be ready to roll. So as I loaded these on here, or installed them, I like to use the bottom row first so you don't have your fingers trying to get in the way. Trying to put too many at once. So you do the bottom row first. This one's reserved for the probe, for the Z probe. And I've got that somewhere over here too. That'll plug in, and that'll run to the front. That'll be great. So I've got left is my Z, Y2, Y1, X, and spindle. And we are ready to roll. We got everything all hooked up now. And all I need to do is get some power to this thing. Got our AC 110. Got our cord ready to go. I'm going to roll this thing around another orientation and see what happens when we turn it on. Can't wait. So the moment of truth. Let's see how it goes. First try. Oh, something made a noise. FoxAlien. That says control and files, which is your normal control. Right. What I did over here, I strapped in a piece of wood to play with. I've got a logo I want to do. And I already know I've done it on a small machine, on a 3018. I'm going to make it larger and try to fit it on a large board. And I use a 1/8. In this case, I'm using this is a 1/8 drill that I cut in my wire EDM machine. I don't know if you can see. I'll probably lose it if I drop it down the hole. Try to get it to focus. Into that drill. Anyway, it's very flat, and I cut it with a wire EDM, so it's going to be nice and sharp. And I can just take it out and sharpen it later too. So here comes the first try. I'm going to chuck up this little drill here and use my Z probe. Here's my Z probe. You put that on the bit and put this underneath. You got to raise it up, obviously. And so I'm going to do some control stuff and see how it goes. And we'll chuck it up and then play a little bit. So here we have the control side of the whole arrangement. And what we're going to do here is we're going to move something. We're going to move. First, I think we have to unlock. No? Okay. Move. Oh. Nothing's happening here, so, I'm going to play around first. Reset? How about reset? Move. Hey, we got to move. Let's see. Step. I don't know. I'm going to play with it. We'll figure it out. We always do. I suspect nothing's moving or happening because I haven't undone the E-stop. No? Let's see. Oh, it's up now. See what happens. Let's see if we can move this now. Move. Nope. So, I gotta make sure I figured out what's going on here. Oh, there it goes. It popped up. So, no idea. We'll return. Unlock. Idle. Ah, move. Z plus. No, idle. Return. Reset. Still says idle. All right, we're going to look it up and see what's going on.